Are you doing okay, Lanny?
I'm doing great.
Good. I love you.
I love you too.
Aww.
I bet I love you more than you love me.
The day of my grandma's funeral is one I will never forget. For some reason, I gave a speech. I had rehearsed the words over and over, but something about being in front of a crowd of Lanny's cherished family and friends really impacted me.
The name Hart fits Lanny pretty well. She had such a big heart that it manifested in the form of a middle name. If you know my parents, you know that they're extremely intelligent overthinkers who do not take things like a name lightly. Yet they knew that Lanny's name deserved to be passed on. When I was younger, I hated my middle name because it wasn't something popular like Elizabeth or Grace. But now I love it more than ever. I will forever cherish my name. A name is a huge part of a person's identity, and Lanny definitely helped shape who I am today. It's weird to be standing in front of you all. Lanny should be sitting in the front row cheering me on. She was always my #1 fan. She told everyone about me and definitely talked me up more than I deserved. I miss her so much. I went over to Lanny and Poppy's a couple of days ago, and the house felt empty. Sitting across from Poppy was an empty chair that still had indentions in it. Lanny should be sitting there. I should walk in the door and immediately be greeted with a yoo-hoo and a kiss on the mouth from Lanny that I always tried to dodge. Lanny and Poppy should be watching their 5th hour news, which they immediately mute when I walk in. I took the little things for granted. I know that everyone dies at some point, but I was convinced that Lanny would live forever. I'm still convinced that she will. Her legacy will live on as long as I have air in my lungs. I wish I could tell her once more how much I love her. I want to thank her for adopting my dad. I'm so grateful that he was raised by a loving, educated family. I want to thank her for loving us despite our faults. Lanny's love was unconditional. I want to thank her for encouraging us to go on adventures. Lanny loved to travel and explore the world. I will forever cherish our trip to Ireland. She stopped by every flower and immediately knew what it was called. I never questioned her, but it is quite possible that she was making up words. I want to thank her for telling me stories. She fostered my creativity and told me the wild things that she experienced in the past. Lanny, I'm going to miss making pumpkin pies with you, delivering goodies with you, reminiscing with you, and watching The Sound of Music with you. I promise that one day I will have the attention span to get through My Fair Lady. You truly are an incredible person. You were ahead of your time. You grew up during the Depression, experienced segregation, and lived through many wars. You continue to better yourself despite the fact that you were born in 1934. Your age never stopped you. You were accepting of all people. You showed your love through volunteering, teaching, and inviting people over to swim. You were strong-willed and loyal. You always stood up for what you believed in. You showed me how to express my opinions. I am so grateful to have been raised by strong-willed, feminist women. What a wonderful life I have been given. I will forever be grateful that you were a huge part of it, Lanny. You have a beautiful soul. Thank you for showing it to me. I love you, Lanny.
I sat by my grandfather the entire time. His dementia was so bad that the day of the funeral was like the first day he had learned of her death. The entire service was a cycle of him squeezing my hand and falling back in the pew like he was fainting. His grip was strong, but he wasn't. None of us were. Some of us were better at hiding it than others. The relief I felt after Amazing Grace is indescribable. The week before the funeral, I was in denial. It was a comfortable place, one that I preferred to stay in. As the organs chimed and Amazing Grace was sang, I felt that I could go back to denial. I could properly grieve in my time frame and no one else's. Lanny was still alive in my mind. Eventually, I'd come to accept the truth. but in that moment, I felt that she was still with me.
That saved a wretch like me. Like you. I once was lost, and now I'm found.